Well, my name is Nicholas Bell, and it's my pleasure to be speaking with Tia Kouvo for her debut film Family Time, which is it's Finland's submission for Best International Feature at the 97th Academy Awards. So congratulations on that distinction. I've actually seen it
Thank you.
twice now. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, because I saw it in Berlin in the Encounters program, which is sadly going to be no longer that sidebar. And I have to say, I had a distinct difference in feeling watching it both times because the first time
Hmm.
I watched it after the holidays and I watched it again right before them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
um, as we're all hurtling towards probably having a similar experience. But let's just start by describing the film, the origins of it, um, and how it's not your typical Christmas movie.
Yeah, well, actually, the initial idea started with me watching TV at my grandparents' place. It was a few days after Christmas, um, surely like maybe 10 years ago now. And there was this American Christmas film going on, and as I was sitting there and watching it, I realized that this is not at all how my Christmases look like. And the distance between what I was seeing in that film and like my reality was so huge that I started thinking like, could I make a film that shows Christmas as I see it? So that's the start of it. Then um, having developed the idea for so many years, going through film school and everything, um, I realized that what I want to depict with the help of this Christmas gathering is more the relationships between the people, or even more so the dynamics of this family, and to really try to show how it really looks like when we spend time together with our family, and try to be as truthful and honest in that depiction as possible. um yeah, so in the end, it's I think it's a lot more a film about sort of our behavior inside a family, and yeah, more than a Christmas film. But of course the Christmas is very present.
That's interesting that you bring up behavior because I also read that you studied social psychology.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's a long time ago now, but yeah, true,
but you can
it's there.
see how I'm sure that that assisted in your development of these characters. And this was based, you had an earlier short film of the same title, which I have not seen. But was
Yeah.
that kind of also the impetus for expanding into the feature?
Yeah, that was actually my idea because I had a teacher at film school. The short film was my graduation film, and I had a teacher saying that if you want to make your debut feature in a special personal style, you should have something to show for the financiers. And I really think it was a good decision to make it first as a short film, because I also got to try out the idea, how to shoot it, how to direct actors in these long shots and long scenes, I mean. And yeah, so it was sort of a strategical choice to make the short first.
Um, was the casting process, did you recast for the feature and how did that look finding your characters?
um I think I sort of had the characters quite clear in my mind, so it wasn't that difficult. And I made the casting myself. Um, but yes, some of the actors are the same from the short film, and then a few of them I've changed to the feature one.
In this
But
shot,
mostly they're the same. And yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was just important for me to find people who, for some reason, go well together. That they sort of look like a family. Although I didn't go so much for the looks, but that they have some similarity in their style and their way of being. So that they're believable as a family.
Um, and this shot in your own grandparents' home, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
I'd like to talk about the look of the film, because obviously you got to spend a lot of time staging the area, which I think always is going to assist a lot. But I mean, it feels like we're deeply embedded in the scenarios, which it kind of reminded me of if I was watching this on mute, the look of the film reminded me of like a Romanian new wave film, the way that
Mm-hmm.
we're so embedded like flies on the wall. And you used the
Yeah.
same cinematographer from the short.
Yes. Yeah, me and Jesse, we have a very good collaboration and we talk a lot and sort of develop the shooting style when making the short film, and then we sort of talk through all different options when making the feature or planning the feature, but then we decided that this is the best way to shoot this, because also I'm more interested in looking at the situations and giving the viewer time to follow the situations and find out things about it, instead of going in close-ups and following the characters and following the characters' feelings. So I'm more interested in looking at the situations and sort of take a step back and just stay calm and follow. But yeah, about the my grandparents' place, there was a really fruitful way for me to work, because um I wrote the script to that place, so I could already, when I was writing, I could sort of see the scenes in front of me, and how the scenes would play out in this house. And for example, the last scene where we see the girl um looking from this grandfather's woodshed towards the house and walking there. I think it's a beautiful shot, and it was sort of written to that place. So it was a really organic way for me to work. So I'm happy it was one of my family members that sort of um, um, recommended that. Hey, why would you not shoot it here?
The tone of it I find very curious, because it is a hopeful film. I am left with it feeling a kind of hopefulness, but
Well, good.
it's also hard to, based on there's a universal quality, like we've all kind of had to go through maybe something similar. But I read that some of your influences were Ozu's Tokyo Story and Todd Solondz's Happiness, and
Yeah.
I can see elements of those in there. But to me, Family Time it's not as a hard pill to swallow as either of those films.
Mm.
Like there still is I think with the shot you just mentioned at the end, there is kind of a sweetness to it of there's hope for the future, perhaps with some members of this family.
Yeah, right. And it's funny that happiness also ends with an image of this young boy doing something, but it's way more ironic an ending
Yeah, but
than my
much
film.
different.
So yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and so the first part is set mostly within the confines of this home, and in the second half, it's like you're almost able to breathe more as we get outside of that. And
yeah.
but your film has one of the best scenes I've seen all year, and I don't want to say it's funny, but both times that I've seen it, I just had to laugh. But and especially because of how it's framed, and it's of course when the grandfather can't make it to the bathroom in time, and the
Yeah.
family reaction, and just everything how that stage is just perfection. Um,
Oh,
how many
thank you.
takes for that scene?
Yeah, well, that's always the thing with those kind of long scenes, that it takes a while also to reset. So it's not like a hundred takes we get to do it, but I don't remember. Could it be 20 or something. I really don't know now, but we had a whole day to it. But we rehearsed first, maybe half a day, as long as we felt like we were not there yet, and then when we started to feeling that okay, we're close enough, then we started rolling the camera. But I'm sorry, it's such a long time ago now, so I
Yeah.
don't have a specific number of takes.
I'd imagine that even though the film is somewhat dark and melancholic and a lot of unhappy characters, perhaps, I would imagine that the cast kind of had fun shooting the film.
Yeah, yeah, we had a really good time. Or I was quite stressed. I couldn't really enjoy it, I have to say, but I think everyone else had a good time. Yeah, and of course they were the actors were like sort of having fun with the lines because it's a lot of like, repressed anger, passive aggressiveness and those kind of things and are fun to play and
Mhm.
when you're explaining something and the other one is not listening at all or not understanding and those kind of things they're fun for actors to do.
Yes, and speaking of repression, my own maternal grandmother was 100% Finnish, and
Oh, wow.
so the this what I really responded to was this granddaughter writing the letter to the grandfather, like, how could you be so thoughtless about all of us? Because no one's really communicating about what's going on. Um,
Yeah.
and again, as I've already said, there's clearly universal qualities to family time, but also in my own personal experiences, it felt very real. Some of the things happening.
Yeah.
I'm curious about how your own family, and I'm assuming that some elements were taken from your own experiences and what
Mm.
they might have had to say about anything.
Yeah. Um, I mean, for sure, I think all of that comes from reality as much as possible. Then, like my own family members, they recognize a lot of things, but not everything, and they might not see like who they are in the film, and so on. So, um, it's it's not like some journalists have described it as like autobiographical or something like that. That's not really correct, but of course I've tried to describe, as like I said, as truthfully as I can, something that I recognize myself in those kind of family gatherings and that I find so important but also so difficult that I want to make a film about it. And I think that it's not only in my family, but that people hopefully then all over the world can recognize something in that. And yeah, I think the initial question or the feeling like or maybe the deeper feeling in family time is that isn't it sad that we can't make better use of this time that we have together. So I'm really trying to look at it and maybe even trying to find some answers to why it is so difficult to have a good time together.
I liked that your characters have the details about the characters also say a lot. What I was taking from it is how we all are trying to control our environment, such as the one daughter getting a promotion about making the store designs, the window designs in the store. Like that's very much about like I get to control this. This is and we see a
Yeah.
shot of her moving around mannequins, and it's like that's preferable to her because she has
Yeah.
control. Or the son
Yeah.
who goes off driving. I also wanted to ask about the use of the cranberry zombie, which is kind of a lovely dark touch as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought about that with control, but I'm sure uh, there's something there. Um, yeah, I don't know if I can say anything smart about that now. I love it when when viewers see things in it that I haven't sort of like thought about consciously, at least. But then it takes a while for me to like come to it. But I think that the unconscious when I'm writing is smarter than my conscious. So so
Sure,
mm,
yeah. But you know, it's a film that I think anybody can watch, myself included, and you can't help but put yourself in your own similar scenario. And I think that's why the second part is so great too, because it's afterwards how we're moving around. And as you said, you know, kind of searching for answers about why in retrospect, we wanted these to be happy moments, but it seems like they never can be. And why is that? And I think that your film is very contemplative in that way, in a way that a lot of films aren't really.
mm, yeah, yeah.
You said
Yes.
that you,
So
go ahead.
no, I was thinking about the Cranberry song. If you wanted me to
Yes, yes.
explain something about that. Yeah. Well, I thought that Simo, the teenager, is a character who well listens to sort of like hard rock, but or heavy rock. I don't really know the right English term, maybe, but
That works. Yeah.
um, yeah. But then I think that he has a soft side too, and I think Zombie is sort of an emotional song, or there's a sentimentality to it anyway. So um first I was thinking like should he be listening to something like Ramstein or something like that, but then I thought, or something even harder, but then I thought that no, zombie's good because it's sort of hard but still soft.
I
So
agree. And there's that essence of being haunted by the past that we can't get over as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that all
Well,
works.
there again, the unconscious that it's there, but I haven't thought about that.
Well, I think there's something interesting about that as how, as humans, we're all kind of connected that way in ways that we can't see until others maybe show us or communicate that to us, which, you know, as someone who's studied social psychology, is that's all very fascinating, right?
Mhm.
I think you
Yeah.
encapsulate it very well. Um, but you said that you shot this some time ago. I'd imagine that you've also been working on a new feature.
Yes, I'm writing on a new script now.
Okay,
So
that's exciting.
yes, yeah.
And well,
It'll also
I'm.
be
It will also
yeah.
be.
So well, it'll be a new film about people and our behavior in this society.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to that, and uh, I would love to. This is also a really fun film, I think, to see in an audience as people react.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, to anybody that is listening to this and hasn't discovered it yet, I mean, I would suggest that they definitely seek this out. But thank you once again for taking the time to speak with me. And as I already said, congratulations on the distinction of the submission, because clearly that's obviously a very big deal, and will allow your film to be seen by a lot more people.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.